Hi, YouTube. And with
YouTube.
that, we will start our actually final this time, session 0 for the summer game. Alteradeus.
Boop, boop.
Affectionately part 2.5, but don't worry about it. Could you just quickly, as we are getting into things, describe what your character looks like? Just like as a child, sort of maybe about a year or two before the circus.
As a child. Um, well, I think he's still fairly tall for a child. Oh dear.
Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes.
Um, I think she'd still be fairly tall for a child. Definitely quite a slim build. But not very muscular. She doesn't spend a lot of time outside. I think her skin is more pale, but it's got a different, like, amber tone underneath it. But probably the most striking thing about her would be her very fiery red hair that almost burns a bit like fire embers. And uh, like obsidian. Yeah. She has one, two, three, four of them basically. So they're a little hard to miss. Kind of showing off her tiefling heritage. That was a surprise to her parents, to say the least.
Yes. And
But and her eyes, a deep ambery, molten, like orangey color that almost like matches her hair at times.
and speaking of those parents, they are out at the moment. They're not normally gone for this long. They tend to like to keep an eye on you. Not because you get into any trouble, more so that they like to think of you as someone who's quite likely to get into a bit of trouble. And you notice, probably for the first time, that since they've been gone, the front door is wide open. Could you go ahead and give me a perception check?
Okay, yes. 22.
Jesus. You can see the boardwalk stretching out in front of you, the famous boardwalk that you have heard stories about in those kinder days and softer moments. But as you're looking out, you see throngs of people going about their day, businesses booming and thriving, and you can't help but hear the slightest bit of singing that seems to almost call to you a little bit. And just, it may be just the time and place of the day, or it may be the magic of the bright shining sun and chirping birds, the soft singing on the breeze, and the slight salty sting of the ocean water hitting your nose. But you only really notice you've started moving when your hand touches the edge of the door frame. And I want to ask if you even bother to look back, or if the second you cross that threshold, it is just taken by the wind and you are gone.
I think with the, I think she's been conditioned very heavily to
Yes.
stay hidden, be small, not be seen. Um, Most definitely not go outside, and definitely not unaccompanied. I think she'd be feeling a lot of fear, but also a lot of excitement and a draw and possibility. So I think there's that moment of hugging the door almost. Do I, don't I, do I, don't I, do I, don't I? But she's still a child, and childlike wonder and curiosity always wins out in the end. And I think as soon as her foot does cross, it is freedom.
Yeah. In that first dive, that first bit of freedom, you are gone. Where do you go to first? The whole world is open to you right now. What would you like to do?
Beautiful sounds that she's not used to hearing and feels drawn to it. Like it's running throughout her body, like it's in her veins, and it's just latching its hooks in and pulling her closer.
Yeah. So you head into the market square. You see large tents, large, spiring, sort of quickly set up buildings, and a small stage that is absolutely crowded. Crowded enough where it feels like in that crowd you would almost definitely be able to disappear and remain unseen as that singing gets even louder. You hear it's a high male voice, sort of a light tenor, as they wail and sing about something you can't quite tell. Could I ask a strange question of what languages do you speak?
Common, infernal, and thieves' cant.
And what?
Thieves' cant and infernal, other than common.
Okay, you do not speak Sylvan, no?
Mm-mm.
You cannot understand the song as it rises and falls in a way that seems almost eerily familiar. However, you do recognize the few punctuated words of Infernal that just they lilt up as the chorus joins, and you can catch words like come, like dive, like become, like never before. And it just, from what you can gather, the song seems incredibly hopeful. What would you like to do now?
I think she'd want to get sort of as close as she could, but keep herself small at the same time. So I'd imagine that her parents would even make her wear like some sort of like headscarf or covering for her
Yeah,
head and her
you've got
hair. Um,
a large brown hood that does a bit to sort of conceal your hair and make it look just red, not quite as fiery or, dare I say,
mm,
this like strange and gorgeous mess.
I think she should try and like pull it close, and kind of just hide almost behind people's legs and use them to get closer and then hide behind them a little bit and look up and try and see and get to the music to see who is singing these beautiful words that are calling to her. Um,
Yeah, you see a tall man. Well, not quite a man. In the last few years of being a boy, possibly maybe like a 17 or 18-year old, definitely older than you are, as
mm,
they dance and spin around a sort of flowing scarf of a thin silk on either one of their arms. And even before that, the first thing you notice is a row of three horns on each side, sort of twirling to look like antlers on the back of their head, and a very bright-ish orange skin. You are looking at, I think, the only other tiefling you have ever seen. And the people in your
mm.
small town are looking at them with gasps and slight reproach.
I think at seeing how others respond to somebody that looks so much like her, um, she pulls the hood a little tighter. Um, but the when music is just so good and you can't help but let your body move to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think she's stuck with that. That it's she almost like subconsciously, like her body tries to just mimic the really beautiful movement because she
Yes.
wants to feel it in her own body.
Could you go ahead and either give me, and I will leave this up to you, but it is very telling what your character chooses to do in this moment. Could you tell me whether or not you are making a performance check or a stealth check?
Hmm. Mm, I think it's complicated. I think she's focused on stay hidden,
Mm-hmm.
but can't help. She's not actively performing. It's more a feeling that she kind of can't contain almost. So I think that would be stealth then rather, because that's something that she is actively trying.
Mm-hmm. What do you get on that stealth?
Hmm. Only a 17.
Only
She's
a
not doing a
17.
very good job of it, apparently.
Awesome. And now this is a strange question to ask because I'm talking about a child who has not technically yet learned magic, but when selecting your spells, did you take counterspell?
I don't have third level spells yet.
Ah, right, you are multiclassing, my apologies. So you would
Yes.
not be able
I
to.
will when I get there.
Oh, don't worry, I figured you might. So you are not able to see the um, smaller, um, sort of dwarven circus leader noticing you first on a 19 perception and casting guidance very quickly on a like subtle spell as the dancer or the performer more accurately is going to try to roll perception to beat your stealth.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 11. They do not. Um, the performer does not notice you. However, as I said, that ringmaster does. And as they dance and continue to sing, you catch the last words of their song, which are fully in Infernal, as they do not sing anymore. They simply scream out the words, "We are here now to dance and to make merriment," as they throw out their hands and bow, blowing a gust of wind through the crowd. Um, Go ahead and give me a luck check.
I have a blur. I know you grind. Oh, 10.
Yikes.
Down the
Your
middle.
your hood blows off, completely
Oh, I
flying
knew you were
away.
going to.
Yeah, no one's surprised. Your head blows off completely in the wind as very quickly the ringleader taps his cane and the dancer throws him the silk that he was wearing, and the ringleader wraps it around your head very quickly, sort of, in essence, kidnapping you. Um, Pushes your head down slightly, rests one hand on your shoulder and the other on the back of your head, and just whispering very quietly, "Don't worry, be calm, we've got you," as you are rushed into a little side tent with more mystical races than you have ever seen. Here there are tieflings, Goliath, Aarakocra, Yuan-Ti, Drow, just more and more things that would be seen as, we'll put it gently, risque.
Mm-hmm. Or scare. I think she just kind of. I think at the point of like taken, a little bit of like a fawn response would kick in, kind of
Yeah.
just freeze, don't hurt me, kind of deal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Especially being taken by people that might look like her, but she's been treated as bad her whole life by parents. So I think she automatically associates people that look like her maybe being intrinsically bad, even though they create something beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes,
so
you see
definitely
the
some fear.
yeah, you see the strangeness of it all, and you have a slight fear response. And then that boy, or that man, walks in, sort of puts one arm loosely over the shoulder of the Aarakocra, and kicks his feet up on the tail of the Yuan-Ti as he just turns back and goes, "Now, who have we brought in this time? Is there something I need to be paying attention to? I'm very tired." And the entire tent erupts in roarous laughter. And I will say, moving forwards a little, what does the next year look like? Just like in a sort of quick snapshot.
Of like her time
in the circus.
at this, yeah. Um, I think a lot of it would just be finding where she belongs.
Yeah. What do you
Um,
think your act
a
would
lot
be?
of
Because that's the first thing they would want to figure out. It would take a little bit. They would let you ease yourself in. You know this to be a bit of a strange circus, even as they will just grab a child from the street. They checked with you. They made sure that you were where you wanted to be, and every time you guys came back to the floating isles, you are given the opportunity to stay there. Um, Despite this being a very strange and at times slightly dangerous circus, you've had to make a few quick run outs of town. Um, it's a very kind place, much kinder than the home you left.
mm, um, well, most definitely, I think she would have over like a year, if not even like a little bit more. Um, she would have, I suppose, started looking and exploring just herself, what
Yeah.
she likes, that she's allowed to have, preferences and things she likes and things that she enjoys, and definitely exploring the music and moving her body and dancing. And then I think that definitely maybe leads a little bit into like acrobatics. Um, Being a little bit extra flexible, enjoying the rush of flying through the air, exploring the natural flames and the love for fire that she's always had, but her parents were always scared of. Um, and um, yeah, I think definitely. And at some point, somebody gives her a blade, and she decides that that's most definitely a fun thing. Um,
Oh, most definitely.
and most definitely sharp things on fire are even better.
I would say
Um,
it was most definitely the other tiefling who would have given you that
yeah,
blade for the first time. The Yuan-Ti, who you know to be a very cautious individual, uh, warned them against them, told them it was a terrible idea, but they simply were not having any of that. Their opinion was more along the lines of, well, the kid wants a sword, so we're getting the kid a sword. Um, and it was
I think
shortly after
I
that,
think
I think
yeah,
that you were asked to perform for the first time. So
yeah.
could I get that performance check and go ahead and do so with advantage and guidance?
Okay. Oh no! Oh
Hmm.
no! She dropped the ball. 10.
Uh, ten's all right. I set the DC at 11
She
though.
got a 2. She rolled a 2 and a 3. She has a +3. And then she got a 4 on the guidance.
Oh god, we do crunchy crit here, so
Okay, let's see.
you make the DC
I forgot about
regardless.
crunchy crit. Okay, let's just with a crunchy crit, it's 13.
Okay, not as bad. Um,
Not as bad.
you
Uh,
dance a little clumsily onto the stage with your fellow tiefling, as the performances, as the circus acts have finished, and it is now time for the dance, as it is simply referred to. He spins around. He carries this thick metal pole with him that he uses to sort of spring himself off the ground and like hold gymnastics poses in the air as the silk spins around him. And a few times in this dance, he is supposed to go up like that, and you are supposed to spin around him with your own silk, slightly tinged and blackened at the end, as where before the gust of wind would have rang out, now you are both to blow a spike of fire into the air and catch your silk up completely. However, as he goes up and springs and pushes himself into the air, feet first, and goes to gracefully fall back down, you are caught in this moment. You are lost a little bit as you are stood there once again, a member of the crowd, even on stage as you are, just staring at this incredible performance. And it takes until he spins around you and spins you and reminds you that this is the end of the show. We need a big finish here. And with that touch, he's going to cast Dragon's Breath on you as you both blow that spike of fire into the air. And as everyone is clapping, and as you are bowing, you notice that your fellow performer is not here. He's not around. And
What? Oh,
he's sort of
okay.
gone somewhere. You can't quite realize as people are throwing coins and roses at you. Now you are performing in one of the major kingdoms in the wastelands, which are not too aptly named. It is still a lush green place. But where do you think you would look first after the show?
If there was any sort of like dressing rooms or preparation area, but like behind backstage ish, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, you
Or
slink.
even
Oh, go ahead.
wherever he lives slash tent, whatever he
Yes.
is in.
You slink backstage immediately and see him, the ringmaster, and the Goliath standing there. The Goliath you've known to be a kind of stickler for the rules, but in this instance, you see them just sort of solemnly looking over as the dwarf and tiefling, the ringmaster and dancer respectively, are shaking a bag full of coins that you know, even if you doubled the amount of money that people paid to see your circus, to see you perform, would not really come close to the size of this bag.
Would it be possible for her to duck behind something to hide?
Yeah, go ahead and make a stealth check.
Let's hope she's getting better at those. 16.
16.
Apparently not.
Go ahead and add a D8 of Bardic to that. The Goliath noticed you, but wants you to stay hidden.
19?
Okay.
Not great. Not terrible.
You are vanished. Just quick perception checks. Nope. Nope. They talk in hushed voices, They're sort of slowly going about, just like, well, there's. We have to tell them eventually. We should bring them in. That's what the dancers do. It's not bad. We're not cruel. We're not doing anything awful. We're just cutting a little off the top. It's not criminal. And the tiefling joins in and goes, well, no, it is precisely criminal. Actually, that's we're
Legal
all right.
definition.
Legally, yes, this is crime. And of course, I agree with you, but they're very wonder-eyed. They're starry-eyed. I don't want to ruin that. Then make it a game. Make it starry-eyed. Make thievery another wonderful act that we perform here, because this does not pay for a circus. This pays for us. This pays for all of us to eat and live and keep traveling. But this, and he slams the bag down, and you can hear it's heavy. But he's right, it could be bigger. This is not a circus worth of money. This is just a thief's. And we are more than just thieves. We are performers, and we do better than the common thief. But, just, like I said, bring them in. Do it slowly, but bring them in. And you see the other tiefling just sort of disappointedly nod and leave the room, as shortly after the ringmaster does as well. And it is only now that you notice the Goliath's eyes have been fixed on you almost the entire time.
She kind of just slinks out from where she was hiding, their hands behind her back, and kind of lowers her head a bit. Sorry. I didn't mean to disturb.
It's a clever trick you've got there. You're quick. You're quick with your feet, and I know it's ill-timed, but you're quick with your hands. You've always been that, cautious.
I've always had to be, for my parents. But I've gotten quicker lately because you know, fire's a little bit dangerous, and so are blades. So
Yes, yes. Would it be rude of me to say you enjoy being quick?
rude? No.
Alright, well, we're going down to another one of the kingdoms next. Just make sure to learn as much as you can from the other tiefling. He'll teach you how to be even quicker. Just let him think it was his idea, alright? His ego couldn't take much more.
She just kind of looks up at him with really big, like puppy dog eyes, and gives him a little nod. Oh, okay.
He scruffs the top of your head, and he is the least stealthy person you have ever known, but he manages to, as you are leaving, just sort of toss a small, we'll call it like a small sugar square or something similar, just like into your bag. Just a quick little treat and a small thank you.
She gives him the biggest smile, and it transforms like her whole face. Thank you.
Of course. And could I go ahead and ask what the next week looks like as you travel through the artificer sort of like pass through the mountain infested with gnomes, as they say, and into the kingdom where you guys are going to spend the next, give or take, month?
I think I think something clicks inside of her mind. Not like stated overly obvious, but more like she starts realizing things that I think she does quite a lot of reflecting, that even to look graceful and beautiful and effortless, it requires time and dedication and pain. And that even somebody that looks confident and at times maybe even arrogant, but so assured of themselves, is maybe using it to hide something else as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think she discovers mostly the concept of masking to appease others, if you want to put it that way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think she makes herself a little shadow of the other tiefling and starts to see if she can observe his behavior, and not quite right away, but definitely internalizes it a little bit to how she could use it for her own act, her own confidence, her own place. Um, Not just in the circus, but something that she knows that she's going to be, more pulled into. And I think she definitely keeps her eyes peeled,
Yes.
watching as much as she can.
You realize that the way he dips his arms, it's never to grasp at the hands that reach towards him, but always to the arms beneath them. He's a incredibly cautious person. As you mimic him more and more, you realize that what he makes up for in his dancing, in his performance, is the fact that, like you and like a lot of the people in this circus, he is slightly afraid. But it is as you are about to leave that second town that he pulls you aside after the dance, and just wraps your head in that silk again. This time, it's not your silk, but his, as he covers your face and the top of your head and looks down at you and goes, "Now, kid, I'm going to need something from you, if that's okay to ask. If you're ready, I'd like you to meet a few friends of mine."
She just blinks a little bit. Friends?
Yes, tutors. They taught me
Oh,
a lot. It's another circus, a less reputable one, but here, do you see that building over there? And he points to a large library with the symbol of a red lady on the front. Each arm stood out almost as if she herself was a pendulum, weighing in one hand blades and knives, and in the other weighing tomes and scrolls.
She gives him a little nod and tries to pull the smile that she's been practicing onto her lips. Just pleasant and not giving much away.
Mm-hmm.
She's not very good at it yet, but she's trying her best.
Yeah, so go ahead and give me another performance check. Since you are trying to pull this on another thief, go ahead and do so at disadvantage.
9.
Yikes. He sees through it immediately. Doesn't do anything. He just smiles down at you and goes, "They'll help with that. They can. It'll be alright." And you walk into the library.
Are you coming with?
For the most part, yes. I won't be there the whole time, but yes.
Is it safe?
That entirely depends on your definition of the word safe. And with that, he sort of takes your hand in his, squeezes it a little harder than he probably should, and takes you into what you will, over the course of the next 2 months that you practically stay and live here, learn to be known as the Library of Blades. It is a small, almost unheard of place where most of what goes on there is secret and quietly said. However, what is said and what is shown is the explicit teachings of a minor thieves guild.
Mm-hmm.
You go ahead and actually give me a intelligence check.
Oh no. And that one.
Yikes. You are...
For 8.
For an 8, damn. Well, I think it is unfair to say that you are not a quick study. I think it would be unfair to you and your character to say that just because you rolled an at 1 does not mean that your character is not as fiercely intelligent as they have always been. But I will say it is that the thrum and wonder and do this, go, pick his pocket, memorize his name, take that ledger, give it to that person. It is all just so much information that takes you the full 2 months to even get so much as the basics. So that when the circus comes back, when after they have gone to another one of the kingdoms and left you here, when they return, the librarians, as they're said, are far too willing to have you returned to your rightful place. They rush whatever ceremony they have, a simple gift to you. While you are leaving, you, the main person who taught you, not a tiefling, but a halfling, just sort of goes, "Oh, yes, and fine thing, you need one of these," and hands you a strange-looking metal disc with the same symbol as the library on it. And he goes, "And if you were to just push down on it," and he smacks with his little hand the top of this pin, and it unfurls it into a spinning ring of thieves' tools, fit with a lockpick, a small letter opener, a little bit of dust to find fingerprints, a small file to wear things down, and finally a small spool of thread or wick. as you are given the
That's so
thieves'
cool. Thank you.
tools. And he goes, "Oh, of course, every student of the archive, and every one of her teachings. Okay. Do well. Be good to your circus. They return to you now, and we return you to them." He says, as
Thank
you
you.
are. You're welcome.
I'll come visit when I'm here next.
Please don't.
I couldn't hear you. I'll see you another time.
And with that, the next 3 years of the circus, for the last of your 6 years you spent there, are a blur of magic and wonder and stolen coin purses as you make your way through the mountain paths, staying for 2 weeks, down to the small outcrop of the underwater cities as you perform your duet and, well, your extracurricular performances to an underwater crowd of captivated fish people, until you finally, years into your journey, make it to the point where you have been not so much traded as you were just offered as a sort of temporary performer to aid a slightly different, much more reputable circus. As the Wayfair Bazaar takes you in for what is unknowingly their last night of performance, can I ask you to describe what a performance fully directed by you would look like?
um. So by this point, I think she's picked up quite a bit of magic.
Oh, for sure.
She's learned to trust herself a lot more. Um, she's found confidence that she didn't have before. Not only confidence just in general, but confidence in herself, in the way that her body moves, in the way that she performs, in the way that she speaks, that she holds herself. It's a carefully curated mask that she's put together to hide behind, but it's a beautiful mask. It's one that she has spent a lot of time and energy building, not only for those around her, but for the audience that she she loves. She loves her audience, and there's a part of her that always will feel quite guilty for taking from them, but definitely not enough to outweigh her sense of survival, at least. Um, her performance would be set to music, something that starts off slow and picks up as it goes, that crescendos and then falls again. Um, she will have mixed a little bit of everything that she loves into it. She has realized that she's a little bit of a jack of all trades. Not quite master, but good enough at them all. Um, and it'll be between an aerial hoop and suspended in the air. That she will dance on for a little while, with some of the silks pulling in from where she started, um, and then transitioning towards, well, what are gold rings good for? Lighting on fire.
Yes.
um, and definitely a lot of blade work between not just juggling blades, but the blades on fire themselves, and mm, probably being less careful with them than she should, especially when they're flying through the air towards her. Um,
So,
and
if
yeah,
I
a
may,
lot of just, of
the
course.
last moment of the performance, a spinning ring as you dance around knives tied to knives, spinning around your arms in this sort of almost whirlwind of flame and blade work. And as you land and bow, you smell smoke. Now, that's not entirely abnormal. You're a fire spinner. However,
Mhm.
this is the smoke of burning hair, and it very quickly becomes noticeable that the Wayfair Bazaar is up in a torrent of flame and misery as people are being rushed and pulled out. The ringmaster, a small, stout man, not quite a halfling or a dwarf, just a human on the shorter end, grabs and yanks you from the back of the tent, pointing at two people who you see sprinting off as a host of men in black robes and sigils implanted on their hands touch each tent, and they go up in flames as the man who grabbed it goes Karma and Flammy, they're all that way with some of the other performers. Go with them. The circus is done. I will find you and pay you. Just survive. As he falls back into the flames, trying to drag his performers out. What would you like to do as what was supposed to be your first of many solo performances quite literally goes up in flames?
Um, I think she looks behind her and sees him going back towards the flames. She has the control flames cantrip, funnily enough. I thought it was apt for said character.
Quite.
Um, and so I think as quick as she kind of can, she can kind of extinguish flames, but only in sort of like a cube at a time, sort of deal.
Mhm. So
Um,
you are helping, you are moving through. It's just not enough. The
and then
smoke
I
is worse than the fire, and it just keeps growing.
um, and I think it then kind of clicks for her that he said um, that there were others that maybe needed help. Um, so I think should go and try and find them, and definitely try and see if at the same time kind of keep an eye on where the others went, where the people that were lighting the fires went.
Yes. As you make your way off to follow the two other circus performers, you see the fire almost as soon as the entire circus is gone, almost extinguish itself as a few of those robed figures begin following the same direction that you are. You're ahead of them, but it is a close race and we will figure out whether or not that race is won in the first session of the Summer Games.
Oh no.
We're not doing a fun start.
Oh no.
Oh no. Um, and with that, for the last time until these sessions are very official. Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.